Hi, I'm back live again today. I am hoping that some of you might join in. If you do, I will bring on some wisdom on a spontaneous topic. So I'm looking forward to some of you coming. So let's see how we go. Alex is here. Hey Alex, thank you for coming. I'm waiting for other people who will join in. How are you, Alex? Are you well? Hi, Laurie. Thank you for calling on the troops. Yeah. We've got the three of us here. What's the saying in Christian saying? When two or three are gathered in my name, there I will be. I had a Catholic upbringing. Pieces of this are coming back to me now, being a lapsed Catholic. But thank you for coming. I will wait a few more minutes to see if some will join us, and then I'll go through what I'm doing today, which is quite an interesting thing. Hey, Alex. Let me just get rid of any buzzing of my phone, switching off my phone. But I'm going to just wait a little while for maybe one or two more, but if not, we will start. I don't know if you read my post, but what was quite interesting was a few days ago, I gave, I'm very mad, playful, whatever. I gave Norma a challenge and said, hey, you've got to deliver it in 24 hours. And Norma did deliver it in 24 hours. She says she called me, she private messaged me back, and we were chatting, and she says, yep, I'm in the process of delivering it, but hey, guess what, Phil, I've got a challenge for you. And the nub of it is that for a long time, whilst I've thought a lot about, and I was awakened about 4 or 5 years ago, I thought a lot about the space we're in, read some, watched some, in fact read quite a lot and watched stuff. I've been quietly sitting in the backdrop, right? As yesterday, if I have people coming to me and they have an issue or problem, I then get into this zoned in space, and I'm able to help, sort of help with structuring how to resolve an issue or giving insights and inspiration. So I kind of like that, and I've been doing that quite a lot, which is channeling, and I do automatic writing because that's something that I've let my guides do. Allow them that little window for them to come play with me from 3 years ago. So then when I was invited to do live with Norma and William, what was interesting was I found out that I've got these knobbly knuckles, so whenever I shuffle cards, it just falls apart on the floor. So I found out I can't shuffle cards. I can't actually help with the reading by shuffling cards, although I do it in private. And then, but also that they are communicating with me directly as well. So I was thinking, what can I do to contribute? What can I do to contribute to these wonderful people who want to learn about this space, who are learning to channel, who are connecting? What are the experiences that I have that I can share? So what I started to do was I started to say, hey, okay, maybe I will just write a topic and share a topic. So given that I'm most comfortable and I've been doing automatic writing for a while, that said, over time, they've talked to me, and I have this conversation in my head all the time. Yeah, don't do that. Oh, why are you doing that? Or, so I have the conversation inside my head. But I thought maybe the most useful thing was to maybe summarize topic. And I get a sense that there's a momentum for these learning to go out. So I've done like 2 or 3 now, and I'm going, that's not bad. There's topics that I can share, that I can help. But I think Norma picked up, and William has said, and William's been saying, you need to talk to me. And so Alex is laughing about the cards. It's like that, and then everything just falls down. It's not pretty, Alex. Not pretty at all. Instead of getting one card out, I get all 45 cards out. It'll take me like hours to go through the whole deck. So that wasn't a way forward. So William has said, I need to talk to you. In fact, they need to talk to you. And he was saying that I need to step up because I am already teaching, but I don't see myself as a teacher of content. I help a lot of, I teach what, when people come in and I talk to them about it, and then I'm in the space of creating content to teach. So William says, nah, but that's, you're already channeling. They want you to connect in your presence and talk about a topic. So I'll bet that William and Norma were having this discussion. So the really funny thing was, I think Norma then said, well, she gave me a challenge. I'm going to give her a challenge. So I am going to ask her to come on live on the spot and give a topic, talk through a topic. You can, and she said, I can pick a topic beforehand, So I asked my crew, my higher self, I said, okay, guys, and she said, you've got 48 hours. So she was a lot kinder. I gave her 24. She says, you got 48 hours. For the first day, I was sort of hanging around and saying, okay, guys, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Didn't hear a thing, because they know me. The minute they tell me something early, I will over prepare. So the story behind this is really funny, because for the two, three downloads that I've done and presented it, it's almost like for a week I'm doing this. Okay, come on, guys, that the invite's been sent. There is an event. I'm speaking. What am I talking about? And then like about 48 hours before, a topic will sort of seep into my mind. And then because I'm doing this at 9 a.m. at 11, on one session at 11 p.m. Hi, Jilan. At 11 p.m. I'm talking about the story of how this is all happening, right? So they give me the topic like a day before, right? But they actually then in the automatic writing, they actually then the night before at about 11 o'clock, because they don't want me to mess with it, they will then say, okay, let's write something up. And then I wake up in the morning and I present it. So that's been how it's been going. But I'm still cheating. I'm still like doing it the day before, having it, and then when I come on, I don't do it live, right? So Norma saying, so I'm going to give you 24 hours. You can pick a topic. Hi, Heidi, how are you? And I want you to not prepare for it, nothing written, don't think about it. I want you to just switch on the live button and then talk about it. So this 24 hours ago, I was saying, oh, there's no topic, guys. Come on. I've got my guides are funny people. Remember when two of you felt my guide, your face goes up and you smile? Well, they are funny. They are just making me sweat it out every time, not telling me what the topic is or not letting me download. So 24 hours ago, I got Casper The Friendly Ghost. I said, what sort of a topic is that? How am I going to talk about Casper The Friendly Ghost? What do you want me to do? Okay, so that was 24 hours ago. So I put it on the wall and go, Casper The Friendly Ghost. I've got to think about that as a topic to present. And I was going, okay, I saw it in my childhood. And then you sort of like rummage through your brain and go, what are we going to do? But the whole point was, they don't want me to prepare. So as I was going to sleep last night, I said, okay, I'll just leave it to you guys. Going to sleep last night, they said, well, it's about changing the labels to take out the sting. You've talked about that in one of your live. We want you to talk around that. I still haven't connected to the two, but they will connect it. So when I woke up, I said, I'm getting a sense of what this is about. So today, let me introduce the topic, which is pretty much spontaneous, about changing the label to take out the sting. The purpose of my guides, I'm understanding that I'm connected to, hi Eric, thank you so much guys for coming. I'm starting the topic now. You can look at the replay to look at the back history of why this is happening and why it's such a spontaneous topic. Yesterday I posted the topic is Casper the Friendly Ghost, because that's what they told me the topic is. And today they've refined it to changing the labels to take out the sting, and they'll explain why Casper the Friendly Ghost will come in. So I'm just gonna bring it on and just gonna bring some thoughts into that space. the reason why they want me to do tutorials, and this is now them talking, the reason why we want Philamae to do tutorials is that we have this big, and I'm buzzing, this big beautiful group who are now taking on the light bearer. You're a light bearer, light bearers rolled. Some will become light workers, some will carry light to anchor light in, some will have modalities that they'll practice with, and that is also beautiful. But what is really difficult in this time and space today is that when you become a light bearer, we shift, right? You shift, your behaviors shift, your attitude shift, but the world continues to be the same. It is shifting, but the mainstream world continues to be in third density. So why we want Philamae to give these tutorials is because we want you to know that in your shift, if you can be an observer, right? If you can embody grace, connect with your higher self, be an observer and be more discerning, you can live more lightly and more lightheartedly. And in everything she does, we know she's really playful and she's quite mad sometimes, and we are too, you know. Everything can be seen in a lens that is quite rosy. It's not about spiritual bypassing. It's to become an observer and see the space that we're in, which is the 3D world, as we carry more light, to be something that we can deal with rather than something that separates us. Whilst we're ascending, we are not separate from this third density life. We need to have a lens to say we are within this life, we are merged with this life, we accept that this life, we have this life, right? But we know that third density life carries contrast, and we have catalyzers in third density life, and this is how the duality world is set up, right? So we want this lens of saying, okay, I'm going to embody grace, I'm going to be more discerning, but hey, how else can we make living more lightly and more lightheartedly a part of the way we live our lives? It is really easy to be in this bubble. It is really easy to be in this bubble where you're in a beautiful group, and we are, and continue to do that. But it becomes a bubble that you go in and feel the joy within and bliss within. What we want all light bearers to do is bring this joy out and to teach people beyond the bubbles that we're all in, that this is what it is. The more we can practice to live more lightly and more lightheartedly and have the tools to do that, right? The more we do that, the more we can inspire others to do that, right? And the more you can teach others to do that. So today, the topic that we're going to teach today, which Philamae doesn't really know till this morning. All she got yesterday was Casper The Friendly Ghost. Before she fell asleep, we told her it's about changing the labels. So today's topic is that you can live a lot more lightheartedly and feel more lightly in the way we live. If you know this tool, we are faced with a lot of people and situations in our lives that our soul has called for our learning, all right? But there's a way to take the sting out of it. And one of the quotes that Philamae and us have written down is to change the label of the people and the situations that cause you pain. When you do that, you take the wind out of the sail. That is an iPhimo quote, and we want to expand on that. So the topic today is about changing the labels in the situations you're in. What does that mean? So let's say when you are confronted with a situation or a contrast, we live in a third density life where what we do is we see that situation as a third density human. We see it as, oh my God, I'm going through this challenge in my life. The word challenge in itself carries a lot of barbs. When you start thinking of things as challenges and things as problems, right, to be resolved, you have already labeled it in a way that will cause pain and will cause suffering. So what we're trying to say is when you start bringing down, embodying your higher self, and have got the advice of your crew and connect with the energies beyond you, you become an observer, right? Remember, the discernment goggles, you begin to see things slightly differently. We all know we are energy beings in physical form. This physical form is here to learn a lesson that our soul has set up for us, right? So that situation, our soul has set up situations for us to rise to and have a learning, right? This is our soul setting up for us, and our soul has also set up the play within where we can learn this. Our life is like a play. We have the people and the situations. So we have made soul contracts with many on the other side, who, by the way, are your soul families. So our soul family members, right? So if you have an arch enemy, pretty much, it is quite likely that your arch enemy who's caused you pain, but have been a loving soul member whom you've asked to help with this learning in this lifetime. Okay, so if we know this, right, our perspective about the people who are hurting us and the situations that are hurting us will somewhat transform because of our knowing of this, right? So when you're living through your life, as we're walking around, if you're thinking, oh, I hate this person, they're only bringing me pain all the time, I'm suffering through this, if you can change the label of that and say, this person who I'm struggling with my third density life, because I've got this learning, I am certain they must be in and around my soul family, and they have volunteered for this job that I've asked them to do, right? At a soul level, we're all loving. The jobs that we ask our family and friends to do to help us learn can be quite tough to take on, but at a soul level, they are all loving, so they will do that. So if you change the label of enemy, which is separation, to the label of soul family helping me to learn a lesson, which means you're coming together united for the lesson, because you will be giving them a lesson as well, right, in the soul contract. Then when you change that label, that pain about the situation and the pain about the people around the situation will shift. The situation in third density life still exists. So what you're thinking, so it's rather than spiritually bypassing it, understand that this is for your learning. That's why in a previous tutorial, Philamae has said that you need to feel the pain, understand it, right? Rise to it if you can, right? In that learning, and then let it go. It is easier done when you take the winds out of the sail, when you have relabeled the humans that are causing you pain and relabeled the situations that are causing you pain. When you do that, you are taking the winds out of the sail in terms of how it's hitting you in choppy seas. You're calming the water, you're taking the winds out of the sail, and you're saying, I'm going to be an observer of this ship in stormy waters, right? I'm going to ease it out a little bit by relabeling the people and the situation about it. So when you relabel it, the magic happens. So let's say in a divorce situation, right? And Philamae is, we're asking Philamae to use her example. When she broke up, it was a really difficult breakup, and there was a court case, and she couldn't understand why, when she read the affidavit, she couldn't recognize herself in it. It was a really painful thing which she suffered through, and we're sorry she had to do that because that was before her awakening. But intuitively, what she did was she started calling her ex-husband by a name that she doesn't call him by. What she did was say, no, this is not my ex-husband who's writing against me, one that I've spent 20 years with. This is this other person. It is also his name. That's the thing. It is his formal business name, right? So she started calling him his formal business name in the duration of the 3 years of the court case. It took part of the sting out because it then isn't personal. This is really important. So if you can relabel the human being that's causing you pain and relabel the situation, then what's going to happen is you're going to shift and transform it, even if it's in some way, and ease up the pain, ease up your emotions in around that, right? Because you've become an observer of it. So hi Christopher, I'm just giving a backdrop on this topic, and the topic here is to relabel the people and situations that cause you pain, because it does take the wind out of the sail. And they promise that they're going to talk about why I've got Casper the Friendly Ghost later on, how it's all linked, right? Okay, so we talked about very personal situations. So think of the things that make you upset, right? Let's say a job situation, right? What they're wanting you to know is you need to first figure out, as in the past tutorial, if it's a trigger for you to resolve. Not all of them are triggers for you to resolve, but they're also wanting to use, now that you're connected to your team and your higher self, a way to ask. Okay, let's backtrack. They're saying let's backtrack. Let's talk about the emotional guidance system. Our heart chakra, our heart and emotions is our guidance system. Okay, so when you're going into a situation, we want you to use your emotional guidance system to guide you through. When you're faced with a situation where you've got this path and that path, right? What you do is go within your heart and feel that space. Are you happy? Does it make you feel positive, or does it make you feel negative? If it makes you look at those two paths, but whichever makes you feel positive, you go that path. If you have two situations that are negative, is it really, really negative, or is it negative but still not as bad as the other one? You go the less negative. Same for positive and positive, you go blissful rather than just positive. Now, once you start using your emotional guidance system to help you sort out which path to go, right? Then from an office situation, is it your path or not, right? If you're feeling like there's a situation that, oh, I'm feeling really negative about it, that's a sure sign that it's not for you. You're not meant to be playing in that. It may not be a trigger at all, right? Unless they directly attack you. So you have choices. So relabel that. That situation is not your trigger to have. It is a contrast sent by source, sent by the universal energies that have organized this contrast, right? Yes, it is painful for all around in there, and that you could participate or not, but say that this may not be a contrast for you, right? Step out of it. So relabeling office politics is really important, right? Because office politics is where we spend 8 hours to 14 hours sometimes a day. Not office politics, office and work. You know, if we work with people, we spend that many hours a day with them. If you don't start relabeling some of the triggers as it's not yours to participate in, then you're bringing your vibration down. Hi Patricia, welcome. The topic is to relabel people and situations that cause pain, so you can take the wind out of that. So we talked about how to relabel office situations. We talked about personal life, how to relabel, how to rethink and relabel your enemies in your family and friends who cause you pain. Once you realize they are potentially your soulmate, whom you've asked to bring in, or the situation is your contrast, whom you've asked for that learning. Once you relabel that, right, it will ease the way you look at your life. It is really important that you be discerning through the rest of your life as you walk out. We are beautifully loving in groups, and that's great. Create buddies where you can actually practice some of these tools. As you go out in third density life, remember 90%, they said big proportion. Philamae always used 90%, that's why we're using that. 90% of the world are just awakening or haven't yet awakened. So the world is still in duality. We need to have tools to figure out how to traipse through this life of ours, knowing full well that we're awakened and we're learning at the same time, and avoiding the the landmines. And if the landmine is for you to do, then you put the shield up and you relabel it, and it will dissipate. It will dissipate. What else do you want to say about relabeling? Oh, Casper the Friendly Ghost. Okay. We're saying, okay, now we know that if we are understanding that we're energy beings in physical body, and we are the lucky ones that won lotto. We are here to live a life in this beautiful time of transitioning, right? In the time of transitioning, it is Gaia is transitioning, and humans on Gaia, animals, plants are all transitioning. It is a time where we still have the energy, the negative energies that are around, creating duality for us. Remember, they're here. Duality is set up for soul's learning, right? For humans to have a soul's learning and experience to expand the soul. So if you know that, you also know that duality has no intention, right? Duality isn't evil. However, we need the players to create the life that we need to step up to transmute the pain for the collective, right? So the setup comes with incarnated human beings who have a soul contract to set up the learning for the collective. At a personal level, it's our family and friends. At a country level, if we live in a country that is regressive or is in a state of transmuting a lot of its dense energy, there will be when dense energy is released, there will be you will be facing natural occurrences that will help release the dense energy. I think Philamae is struggling with this because there is a truth around being prepared that this transitioning requires a reconstruction, and that reconstruction can when we see it in certain eyes, can be quite painful. But know this, as we're transitioning from one dimension to the next, there are multiple versions of this reality. The reason why we want you to relabel what you're seeing and what you're seeing, right, is that there are multiple realities at play. When you start relabeling and saying, no, I am an observer and I'm going to call in the new earth, and I think Philamae is concocting this phrase called the now earth. I'm going to call in the now earth, which is this beautiful space, right? Yes, there needs to be a release. That is something that needs to happen, but it needs to happen from a global perspective. The reality that I want to call in is the reality that I will be involved in, that I will address my learning and release the energies that I have within that no longer serve me. I'm going to help my family and friends do that. And from a collective level, there might be some pain and trauma in terms of the density collected that needs to be released. But if you become an observer and says, this is what is meant to happen, but I'm calling into my reality a safe place. I'm calling it into my reality, a place where I can help others to understand that this is what we are calling in. We're calling in the new earth that is beautiful, right? It is, the more we call in the new earth, the more we let go of what is happening, and the more we call in beauty and love into our lives, the more we relabel what we think is negativity that's pumped out by the media, right? The better we are able to call in the reality we want. So this is an example they are telling me. If we start calling everything, and one of these, this is actually from an Abraham Hicks learning. If we call on everything and we say, if we see everything as the war on poverty, the war on everything, if we call it and label it a war, what we are creating is separation. Okay, if we are calling in the war on poverty, what we're creating by bringing in is our mindset will resonate. Our mindset will create the belief that there is tremendous poverty and we need to fight against it. All these are negative labeling, right? If we, in our mindset, relabel as there is a transitioning this lifetime, and if I can stay my higher self, and if I can be kind and be compassionate and help all those who may need help, right? And be joyful in that intermingling, because we're here to intermingle, right? Then we're changing the label of what's happening out there. Media has a role to play in terms of creating labels that will generate fear and anxiety. That is what the media's role is. The media is connected, and you can have a lot of read up on this, is connected to very powerful bodies, governments that are influenced by the darker energies at this point in time. That will all change, all right? What they're trying to say, or what they're trying to have me let you know, is that if you know that that's what's happening, don't use their labels. Relabel it, right? What they want you to understand is how we relabel things that are happening around us from a personal level about yourself, from a family level, from a community level, from a planetary level, will cause the shift of what you call in. The more we can relabel the labels towards the now earth or the new earth, the more we will call in that dimension for us and for the collective. The more we continue to use the words that are set up in duality and in third density of the old earth, the more the old earth will stay. It is our job as light bearers to relabel it, to help people understand, no, we're not bypassing it, but we are changing the energetics of our thinking so that we can call in a reality that is beautiful and loving, right? When we change and relabel, right, it changes the memory of the cells within us. So it doesn't matter if in our childhood we have learned certain things. Once we start relabeling it and our minds are starting to call it in its new label, the new memories are formed within the cells in our body. When we start doing this, we start exuding the energy, the law of attraction. We'll start exuding it. And you'll find that what you thought were things that were impacting you negatively, or the scenarios that are impacting you negatively, it no longer has that magnet to stick to you, right? Once you start relabeling it. So relabeling it helps you loosen the grasp of third density duality in terms of the contrasts that are set up, right? From your sphere. So I think Philamae has talked about, words are spells, right? The way we think about things are spells. And spells being, we are putting an imprint in our mind about how we want to see a certain thing. So as you're walking around day to day now, what we want you to know, hi Michael, what we want you to know is that we want you to see things differently, be an observer. When something happens, try to relabel it. Why is that happening, right? If you want to respond to pain of others or suffering, that is a good thing. That is service to others. But don't label it in a certain way. Put yourself in their shoes and say, how would we make the person's life more whole? What have I got that is so, that I am so blessed by, that I can help them become more whole? As an example, when we look at homeless people or disabled people, people with disability, right? They have chosen a really difficult lifetime, right? So what we can do is put a different lens on it and say, well, people with disability, they're here to take on a difficult lifetime, and some of them are differently abled. They're helping us in different ways. So because they're helping us in different ways, as an example, autistic kids are helping us in a certain way, helping us to learn certain traits. We go into, and then we take on the mindset of, yes, they're differently able, but how can we help them live more at ease in this world, because we are blessed with that ease in our lives. When we look at the homeless, how can I help lift them up vibrationally? Because as light workers and light bearers, our job is to lift ourselves and to lift others, right? So help them and know that they're here to serve a purpose as well. Don't feel pain by it, but feel compassionate about it, right? Don't feel the government is doing wrong. Feel, what's the one thing I can do that can lift the spirit of this person who doesn't have a home, right? If you're seeing light workers tripping up, and light workers are tripping up left, right, and center, say, this money that they need to take their child to the hospital, right? What does it, if that money was, like for me, there were a few situations for Philamae. She knew that the money that she was giving to others for certain trip out situations would actually transform their lives. And to do that, when you see that, when you do that for a light worker, you know that they are trying to lift the vibration of others as well. Is that their life isn't easy at that point in time, and getting them off track, right, is a bigger problem than keeping them safe and on track. So have that mindset. How can I help them get on their path? How can I help them keep on their path? Because in the main scheme of things, we're all here to help each other, right? So they keep saying, well, now Casper the Friendly Ghost, what is that? The relabeling is, don't think of dark energies as dark energies that are evil and horrible and taking us down. See them as Casper the Friendly Ghost, right? They're here for a reason to help us learn. They're here for a reason to transform, help us shift from one dimension to another, right? In putting them separate as they are dark, it's horrible, it's terrible, we're actually living in separation. What we need is to try to find ways, if we cannot bring it into unity, because it's not the time for us to incorporate the dark, which we don't want to do, what we want to do is to relax the way we see that. To call it, Casper the Friendly Ghost was just a phrase to remind you to relabel the dark energies that a lot of religion and a lot of people are talking of it in a very negative way. The minute you make it negative in the way you label it, you will bring in that reality to you. So what we're wanting to say is, become an observer and even relabel dark energies. Yep. You know, when we think about reptilian energies, oh my God, they're horrible, they're girl. Yes, they are, but there is a history behind that. Going into learning about this is really important. The reptilian energies came from another planet and they operated differently to the planet Earth. They were displaced from the planet and the energies came here. The way they are able to sustain themselves is to take on the energy of fear and the energy of it feeds them, right, of worry and anxiety. So the lower vibrational energy, but they were displaced from the planet and they need to move back out there. So they're moving away. Duality was set up, Earth was set up, and they came to Earth, and their being here on Earth was to teach Earth and humans over a period of time. It is all in the plans, by the way. Certain lessons at a collective level or not. So if we were to say, okay, yeah, we get that there are dark energies, but hey, we are in this, our life, when I say our life is set up as a play, this whole collective humanity is also set up as a play to help us learn and to help us ascend. So the darker energies are playing that role to help wake us up. If we can relabel it as the energies are helping us wake up and be warriors for the light and love that we choose to see in this world from fifth dimension, then we will see it differently. Then it's not about separation again. What we're seeing then is to say, yes, I have my boundaries, I do not want that there, but I get it. I get what's happening, and that is okay. They are helping us wake up, right? But and if you want to go one step further, they're helping us wake up by being in this low vibrational state. But we are the lucky ones that will be going to fifth density Earth, fifth dimensional Earth. They don't get there. They get to stay in this, place that is not the most pleasant, right? From our perspective, it might be quite pleasant for them. So if we can see that as their role to help us awaken this Earth at this point in time, to help jolt us into stepping up to becoming a light bearer, to help jolt us in coming out and helping others understand this, that is their role, that is their job, that is okay. It is not okay in terms of the trauma, right, that they have incurred in this third density life. Where we can help in kindness and compassion, that's where we need to go. But do not get your mindset stuck into hating another. Because when you create labels that separate you and create that hate within you for another, then again, we are not achieving unity consciousness. So if you can see the darker energies as Casper the Friendly Ghost, that is a good way to see your life from here on in as we step out as light bearers. We don't have to worry about Casper the Friendly Ghost's role and what's happening. We just need to look around us, right? And say, how can I ease someone that's not at ease? I'm so blessed. How can I help someone? And you can actually do it in a fun and playful way. As an example, what Philamae did was there was this homeless guy who was sitting near her previous home, and she noticed that he had a cup that had a logo which was coffee from across the street. There was a cafe across the street. And so what she did was she actually went there and gave $20 to the cafe and said, when he next comes in, can you give some food, right? Can you surprise him so that at least he gets 2-3 meals out of this? And what she loved was she did it because she feels so good about it, right? Yes, it's for the homeless guys, which is how it starts, homeless guy. But that's the sense of, oh my God, isn't that great? I've impacted something that will shift someone in some way going forward, right? There's so many places that we can extend our love and compassion out there. We just need to not think about how the government has failed us and have that separation, how the evil's out there, how the Illuminati, that just take that out of your mental and your mind, because you can't change that. Aside from voting, you can't change that and do vote for the right party and the right person. But what you can do is you can do from a grassroots up, lift another. That's what us light workers are here. Lift yourself, and when you're able to, lift another. Changing the labels of all these they're showing me big ugly areas, which really is set up for you to feel anxious and worry, right? It's a duality setup, and it's a setup to keep us in fear and anxiety, and that's not where we want to be. We are awakened. We know the deal that's happening right now, right? So if we know the deal that's happening right now, start living an inspired life. Start living a life with more discernment. Start living a life with more rose-colored lenses, but not as in a spiritually bypassing way. Stop living in a way where we can see things differently, we can label things differently, and therefore those things no longer impact us and take us down. You're right. I know they're saying we know that the 3D life is hard, but a third of souls have come down in this now time. We won the lottery. We are the ones that have the experience. We are the ones that have the lineages to take on this difficult life, right? What you need to do is use the tools that are being given to you to shift your awareness and therefore shift the way pain works within you. And that is the topic for today. It's about relabeling the people and situation that cause you pain so that you can take the wind out of the sails. And that's how it's linked to Casper the Friendly Ghost. Phew. Thank God. I don't know if any of this helps anybody, but I think that's what they wanted to say. I don't know if it makes sense or not. I'm happy to scroll through and see if there are any questions in and around this topic. Hi everybody. Hi Heidi. Yes, you're welcome. iPhimo, for those who don't know, I used to jokingly tell my business people a long time ago, I used to call it finding Phimo, finding Phil's mojo. This was at work and that phrase sort of stuck. So Phil's mojo, now I realize, is my higher self. And the I in front of iPhimo is the co-creation between the avatar and the higher self. So that's what iPhimo is. Laurie, thank you for the feedback. For a lot of you who there was a setup there was a explanation earlier why the topic was not forthcoming, because it was a challenge by Norma for me to just turn the tape on and start talking rather than hide behind my automatic writing. So I'm just gonna scroll back up. There were a lot of people saying hello, but also there were comments. I just don't want to miss. Alex, I guess you'll bring a new topic from your guidance to the table. Yes. Yes, Alex, it was yesterday they told me the topic was Casper the Friendly Ghost, and I was going, what? I've got funny pranksters as guides, by the way. For those who actually felt yourself smiling, that's them. Yes. The messages I've heard from you, they have been useful and astounding. Thank you, Alex, for that. Hi, Christopher. Patricia's here too. Hi, Patricia. How do you relate yourself? Relabel myself. How do I relabel myself? If you know you are the one getting in the way, is that the contrast you were talking about? The contrast, I think, the contrast is a combination of two things, right? The contrast is, if we understand contrast, our soul has set the contrast is the lesson we want to learn. To learn a lesson in our higher selves, in the when we transition, all there is love and light and all expressions of the positive on the other side. Earth was a set up duality so that we can come onto Earth to create, to experience the opposite of what we want to learn. So if we want to learn kindness, we will be in a space of lack of kindness. If we want to learn empowerment, we'll be in the space of lack of empowerment. So if you're saying that you are the one that's causing it, then what you need to do is, causing the contrast, is get off it. Link up with your higher self and say, it depends. It depends on what contrast you're creating. Some of the contrast that we're creating is situational, that was set up by the soul, and if you're the one creating it, then be more cognizant. Understand that we're moving towards unity consciousness now. If you are the one that's actually causing the lack of unity and separation, we are now all waking up. So what do? Ask yourself, what would love do, right? What would love do will bring your higher self in that situation, so that the contrast that you're creating for others will lessen. So then your question is, what if the contrast I'm creating is predestined by my soul plan, right? So if that's the case, then you'll feel the urge to respond in that way because it was predestined in your soul plan to be that person. But we're moving to fourth and fifth density. Fourth density or fourth dimension is love, and fifth dimension is light, right? As we're moving through, we're dropping duality, right? So we're dropping contrast. So what they're saying to you, Alex, is if you're the one causing contrast, we've gone through, is it 26,000 years of learning about contrast in this way. We've done our job, you know. Humans have done their job learning this chapter. We're going to flip the page onto the next chapter now, where there is no contrast, as we are in the fifth dimension. We will have telepathy, and so, you know, you can't set up contrast for another person because there is telepathy, right? And so there is no duality there. So why not live fifth dimension now and stop setting up contrast and say, no, I know that this person needs to learn something, but I'm gonna have compassion and realize and say, you know, unless you've got a strong urge to do it, which is your soul plan, just say, maybe I'll be easier on those people this time. Because I think that's your question. How do you relabel yourself if you know you're the one getting in the way? Is the contrast is that the contrast you're talking about? The contrast is actually the situation, right? That our soul chose this play for us to be in. This play has duality where it will allow for you to feel the opposite of what you are wanting to learn. So if you're wanting to learn empowerment, this play will show you and put you in a situation of disempowerment. That's what contrast is, the opposite of. Contrast is a great word because contrast actually says expansion of the soul. Whereas if you say challenges or suffering, it is a relabeling. If you say challenges or suffering, you're saying it's something bad. Contrast is something good. Contrast is a word that Abraham Hicks used, and I think it's a brilliant word to use here, because what it's saying is, we know we're here to learn a certain lesson, and we've created the contrast in our life to learn that lesson, right? And we are knowing of that. So I hope that answered your question. Laurie says, Eric, I heard today that at the soul level we placed our blocks there. We need to be in certain situations to help us grow. I'll send you a link. Perfect, Laurie. That's exactly it. So we've got that. And then, okay, Laurie, I think there's a conversation between Eric and Laurie, which I will let you read. The video will frame it better. I haven't finished watching it yet, but it suits your question. I think it's Feel Good on the YouTube. So have a look at that and go have a look at Feel Good on YouTube. Let's see if there are any questions. I'm scrolling down. I appreciate all the feedback. Thank you. Trish, thank you. Christopher, thank you. So cool. Thank you. This is the first time I'm doing live channeling directly. I usually I do live channeling directly as in Q&A, all of that, but bringing down a topic is the first time, and I'll do more and more of that. I'm preparing myself for actually doing a lot more engagement as a teacher in this space. I've been hiding in the corners, and William and Norma are saying, come on, Phil, get out there. They know. So Eric is saying, so like you said, it's as easy as giving myself permission to step off contrast. Yes, exactly. Once you actually become an observer and say, that's a contrast, or that's a trigger that's not mine to have, that's a trigger that I need to learn because it's a pattern in my life, you're starting to relabel it all anyway. You're starting to almost see it as, they're saying, as a game to play, an adult game in the sense of, I've got to learn this, so we've got to get there. If you have kindness and compassion, you would not actually hurt somebody in the process of playing this game. If you have, as we're rising into into fourth density and fifth density, or in a different energy base, we will begin to integrate the concept of unity consciousness, and then understand that they are there doing that, or the situation is there being that, because it is for our learning, and it is about all of us helping each other rise to our learning, at every now time. Yeah. Patricia says, saves you writing things down. Yes, it does. But now I have to go to transcribe it. But that's good. Either way is fine. I'll practice more. If But the nerve-wracking thing is, like for everyone, I would imagine, is not knowing what you're gonna say. You know, that's why life is hard, and I understand it. But it's taking that step out. And what's beautiful is how William has described it. It's like taking the training wheels out. You're gonna like wobble a little bit like that, you know, and then you go, and then you move on. So everyone, take your training wheels off. This is a beautiful place. They're saying this is a beautiful place and a very safe place for everyone to experience life. So do that. They're asking everyone to come on. You guys are on that. Many of you have already started the journey of self-inquiry and spiritual pathing. So keep doing that. This is one step ahead. You know, we need as many light bearers and as many light workers and as many like anchors at this time, in this now time. Everyone, take that step up. It is easier than what you think, and it's more blissful than what you know. So they're wanting you to step up to this. Congratulations for your first time this way. Yep. No longer a virgin. Glenn is with us. Yep. That's what I said. 1 or 2 counsel. Thank you so much. If there are no questions, I'm just saying, does anybody want to come on? I can actually press the button to get you guys on if you like, if you want to chat, or if you want to do your own, you know, do it live, feel free to jump in and practice. I don't bite. I'm just going to, if there's a lot of, if you tell me you want to come on, I'll press it, or we can take a break and then you guys book yourself in for lives. Yeah. Book yourself in for live, so that if I see you live and you're on, I might gate crash and have a party with you. Okay, so book yourself in for lives. This is playtime. You know, we're in a play. This is playtime. The more we see this as playtime in a play, the better it is for us. I'm relabeling it. Part of my mission going forward is to awaken people to their peace and to their purpose through play. So that's why a lot of my tools are funny tools. Hey, Patricia wants to come on. Okay, there we go. Where Patricia approved. She's coming on. Laurie, you're welcome. Whenever you need to come on and you want to have a chat, or if I'm talking and you want to come on to chat more, come on in. I'm still adding Patricia. Trish, it says adding, connecting. Yay! Hello.
Hi, Philamae.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. I survived. Woo! They connected it with Casper the Friendly Ghost. Thank God.
Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I can.
Oh, wonderful. It's good to be on. Yes, I am nervous, but hey, do it anyway.
Do it anyway, you know? Just open your heart, smile, and your higher self and crew will just drop in, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we vibrate higher, we connect better with them.
I rushed back. I had to meet my other son, the youngest son. He's working in Parramatta, so I had to rush back from that.
Yes.
And was good to catch what I did, but I missed half of it.
Yeah.
Brilliant insights.
Thank you.
And funny enough, as I'm walking back, and yes, there are a lot of contrasts out there. And yes, I did pick up a few things, and I went like this. Hang on, I am love.
Yeah.
You know, and then you know, and then it's I'm sorry. I take that back. I love you in the truest form.
Yeah.
And then it just creeps up now and again.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the contrast will be around us because this is a duality dimension, right? And it's not a bad thing because it's set up for souls learning over the last 20,000 years or beyond that. So it's meant to be, but not all contrasts are ours to serve out or to rise to. So if we can take half of them out, right, and then that will ease half of them, because we're you know, the humanity is trained to, let's take this on, let's take this on. Oh, this is so unfair. I'm just gonna, which is good. Like doing protests and all that, as long as our mindset says a different thing, that it's not your, right? We need to start labeling it in the space of unity, consciousness, and love. That's what we need to do, right?
Yeah, I stopped watching TV a number of years ago, but anyway, they can get in with Netflix or something, so they had to, you know, when you do watch,
Yeah.
so that had to go,
Yeah.
that had to go, that had to go. But yeah, the powers that used to be, and that's what they call them, the powers that used to be.
Yeah. Hi, Anna.
This is the new power.
Yeah. Yeah. I can feel it. Yeah, I feel a sense of optimism about what's coming in, but when that energetically it's coming in, but when it's coming in, it means that there is a reconstruction that will happen, transitioning, and the transitioning in certain countries and certain places might be a little bit more painful, but it will happen. So as long as we continually anchor our minds in the new earth, as in the now earth, right? I call it the now earth. New earth, like, oh, it's now, right? It's in a dimensional space. Gaia's in a dimensional space in this now time that's here for us to access. Right now we're bumping in and out of it. And then as we keep practicing discernment and carrying grace and being loving and all, we will get higher and higher, and then it's almost when we get into fourth dimension or fifth dimension fully, we'll go, oh my gosh, it's such a natural thing, because we've been bopping in and out of it more and higher, to the point it becomes regular. But we need to have discernment and looking around at what's happening, not bringing it into our heart thinking that the world is tragic. It's that it is contrast set up. It is a construction time before a new dimension can be upon us and for us to access. So that's what you do. That's right.
Yes,
around you.
That's right. And funny enough, last night it came to me that really what I've got from everything is every time we breathe, we're actually in the now.
Yeah. Yes,
we're in the now every time we breathe. And if you're dragged back, oh no, that was then. This is now.
Yeah.
This is now.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
This has been very strengthening. Thank you very much. It allows us to move forward with strength.
I love the point that every time you breathe, you're in the now. It's correct. When you breathe in, that you engage your senses in the now. Say, what are the three things I can see around me? Then you go, that's a table, that's a bag, that's a tarot deck or a deck, oracle deck. And then you go, breathe in and you go, what can I hear? That's a bird, you know? What else I hear? I hear the rustling of leaves. And then you go, okay, breathe in again and go, what do I smell? Ooh, I'm making this up. But as you go through each one of your senses with each breath, right? You are anchoring in the now. You're anchoring.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
You breathe in and you go, what do I see? And then you breathe in again. What do I hear? Then you breathe in again.
Oh, you've taken it. You've taken it to a new level, because all I said was, you know, every time I take a breath, I'm in the now. But this is, you'll come along now with a now with awareness.
Yeah. Then you breathe
bringing in the senses.
Breathe in, and then you feel, how do I feel? What's this feeling I get? Right? So go through your five senses. When you go through your five senses,
bringing in the senses.
You would have anchored yourself in the now for about 5 minutes, right?
That's right. Yeah. Every time I breathe.
Every time you breathe, ask yourself a question with one of your senses. And then now that we're all sensing energies, then you go, who do I feel? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is wonderful.
And then when you're doing
Thank you for having me.
You know, the smile has a lot to do with anchoring you in the now in a very positive way. So as you're doing it, smile. Doesn't matter what people think. You think, who's this woman sitting on the grass smiling and breathing? Who cares? Smile, you know?
No, I don't
Smile.
care.
When you smile,
when you smile, do you feel your heart blooming?
Yes. You lift yourself up. When you smile, right, you're connecting. You're connecting. So even in meditation, sometimes you're doing a short meditation, just smile, you know? It's kind of
Thank
fun.
you very much.
You're most welcome. Most welcome.
All right.
I might ask if anybody else wants to come in, and
Yes.
I will insert you out. Thank you for coming on and saying hello. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
I do smile a lot, Alex. Yeah, I think what's that phrase about something bitch face? You know, if I don't smile, I've got that kind of face. Yay, Alex! Come on in. Come on right in. Hi.
Hello, Philamae.
How are you?
I'm a jaguar, but I'm doing fine, thank you.
Oh, sorry, you were down?
I'm a jaguar. You said jaguar, you, right?
Yeah. Are you enjoying the course?
Yeah, absolutely. All this is very helpful, very useful.
Yeah.
And regarding the topic that you have talked about a few minutes ago, how can you identify the contrast? I guess, as you said, we have contrast in life, but it can be part of your soul contract role, or it can be something that you are doing without awareness. What do you believe you can identify? Oh, well, that's part of my role. I will make the contract. I'm going to do the contract for other people to learn, or perhaps it's not part of the soul's contract, and perhaps I'm doing, but I'm not aware of this. So, what do you think about it?
As you get more and more aware of who we are and why we're here, right? The in terms of the contrast, a lot of us are, some of us are still living the contrast, although we're awakened, and some of us have done the dark night of the soul, which has awakened us, right? So I'm the second one. I did the dark night of the soul, then it awakened us, and then I become, oh my gosh, this is a play we're acting in and getting the learning. So we can't preempt everything in our lives, but what we want to do is understand this for ourselves. We can only work with ourselves, right? So if it's about you setting up for someone else's learning, just let it flow. Follow your instincts, right? Follow your instincts, meaning that if you are the catalyzer to someone else's learning, then you go through the process of using your emotional guidance. So if you have two paths and it's positive and negative, you go positive for yourself. Your positive for yourself might well be in a negative for somebody else, but you are serving yourself because your soul says, because your soul is telling you which path to take. Your soul is saying, go down this path. If it's too negative, you go down the less negative because your soul is talking to you through your emotions to go through. If you follow your soul's emotional guidance system, then what happens is whatever it generates for another is another person's contrast learning. You don't have to overthink it. You just follow your intuition basically on what you need to do for yourself, right? But as light bearers and light workers, when you awaken, you understand the magnitude of what love, kindness, and compassion needs to be, right? If you're following something that your soul tells you to do, but you're actually doing harm, like in a big way, don't do it. Don't do it, right? You don't continue that path to hurt someone else. Say, I do not choose for this to be my path, even though your soul says, I don't choose for this to be my path because it's hurting someone else, right? So be discerning. Be discerning. But in the main, when you follow your emotional system, it's really about your spiritual path going forward and your soul purpose. In all things, I would actually say be kind and compassionate, right? And
All right.
always know that we need to be the bigger person of the situation because we're awakened. We have the privilege of being awakened, and therefore we need to honor that privilege by not being unkind and not compassionate to someone else, even though we might be in the right. Because the ego says you're in the right, so you've got to do it this way. But if you become an observer, right? And I've had a few situations where I allowed for the contrast to happen to me in a painful way, because actually it was less painful because I became an observer and said, well, this is what that person needs to do, and I acknowledge it and I understand it, and I'm being used in their contrast, and I get that, so I'm not fighting that. I will let it
Mhm.
flow, right? If all of us can
Oh,
do that,
mhm.
then unity consciousness build, and it's such a beautiful thing when that happens. Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
have a
yeah. Oh,
situation that you're worried about?
no, no, it's more somebody people gathers around me. Sometimes they want advice. So
Yeah.
it's how to understand them to change their vision so
Hmm.
they can choose the path that will bring less pain
Yeah.
to bring more light.
Yes.
So sometimes you can think, well, it's part of their soul contract and that's their role, but you can change it. Perhaps it's time that they change their their vision, their paradigm, their, as
Yeah.
you said, to relabel it.
Yeah.
So that my advice to them will be to
Yeah. To relate.
relabel.
Because relabeling takes out a big portion of the suffering. The pain is still there in that situation that they need to live out, but once they start relabeling it, it shifts a lot of the ongoing lamenting and pain that comes from a situation that they think they can't get out of. So helping people and teaching people this, I think, is what my higher self wants people to know, and that's why I'm bringing down this learning. Yes. And then, mm,
Continue,
what
please.
what you can do is, before you advise someone, the more we're connected with higher self and the more we're connected with our guides in giving advice, the better our advice will be for the better good of them and for yourself. So if you're finding yourself in a situation where they're seeking advice, ask your higher self and ask your guides to be with you in your advice. Set the intention, right? I want to
All
embody.
right,
I want to embody my higher self. I
all
want to
right.
connect with guides because I'm here for the better good of myself and this person, and I want the
Mhm.
right advice to flow through me, from you, through me, right? And that's what you
All
do.
right.
You ask for
Okay.
help in that situation. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, sounds terrific. Great, great. Thank you for the advice.
yeah.
Um, Perhaps when people relabel, they will finish their soul's contract, and that's it, right?
Yeah. Um, when they relabel, they might be able to. There's two things. Relabeling takes the sting out, takes the more of the suffering out, but the soul contrast that you're in for your learning, you still need to rise up above it, right? You still need to step up to that learning to say, how do I do this from a loving, compassionate, kind way, right? And still get the learning of empowerment, all right? So when you know that it's like in the patterns in your life that has been building up, disempowerment with my, when I was living with at home, disempowerment with my first partner, disempowerment, and they go ding, oh, my contrast this lifetime is disempowerment to empowerment. So and like for me, when I figured out what my contrast was, I was like, I know what you're doing, so I get this business now. You're gonna throw me some curveballs in and around the space. I'll show you. I'll step up to it by not being angry, by learning how to empower myself. I get that, right? So you're actually labeling the situation with empowerment, taking the reign and saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you guys I'm up to it because I'm pretty awesome, right? You're relabeling yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
once you start
okay.
relabeling yourself, you're
Sounds
empowered.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I guess it's clear for me. Thank you for your advice. I also
Yeah.
want to say thank you. Um, this session and last one was amazing. Your insights are very useful. Thank you,
Thank you for
Philamae.
the feedback. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Love the feedback. At some point in time when I do more of these, then I might actually try to get testimonials from different ones. They want me to step up to my openly to my light work, and I will do that. And then what I might do is get you guys to help me with some testimonials, and that will be really helpful for me to get me on my path being a spiritual teacher. Right now I'm still in the closet, but it's time for me to come out. So it's only in the last 6 months that I started telling people on my Facebook page that I'm connected. But
Wow.
before that, for 54 years, nobody knew. 54 years, right? I'm almost 55. That I'm, the last 5 years, right? So I was
Wow.
exciting. So I am coming out now, and in time I will ask if you guys can give me some testimonials, as I am asking William and Norma to help me on this path. But I'm so
Oh,
glad.
of course.
I'm so glad they pushed me out and say, "Go on, speak, turn the button
Go,
on."
go, 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 go. Let's do it. Great.
It's so fun
It's
though.
a no,
Sorry.
and if you don't, I saw the replay from last session regarding the pizza analogy, the pizza the
Yeah,
pizza analogy that you yeah the slices the wedge it's amazing,
yeah.
very
They
interesting.
I'm almost like the bridge. They give me ways to translate spiritual concepts from what I'm understanding from William, quite um, high dimensional anchoring that I connect with. And because I am a consultant in marketing, communication, and branding and all that, they use the skills to help create tools that people can get easily.
Yeah.
So I think that's the role I signed up for. So there'll be more and more of this stuff over time. So it'll be fun.
uh,
There'll be
yeah
pizzas. There'll be discernment goggles.
yeah
There'll be
if
rose-colored goggles.
if if you don't mind, when I'm talking with somebody or if in one of my writings, because I like to write a lot, I will bring sometimes the pizza analogy, and of course I will give your credit to you because it's
Thank you.
your
If you can
idea.
do
But
that,
it's an amazing concept to help
yeah,
people understand this. It's amazing. If you don't
yeah,
mind, I will use it a lot, of
yes,
course, with
you
your
can.
credit.
You can. I know that they're wanting me to start in time to put these into a chapter of a book, and I'll probably write blogs. So when I get those going, I'll get all of you connected so that you can access those playful
Thank
tools.
you.
Like my job is to bring playfulness in teaching in this space,
Yeah.
and not that people feel that it's so worthy. And so like yesterday topic Casper the Friendly Ghost. I'm going like, what? Because my guides are pranksters. We prank each other all the time, so they're always playing with me to scare the hell out of me in a in a funny way. So more of this will come, because in my mind I'm created to be just playful and mad.
Oh, wow. You are so joyful, so funny. I really appreciate. One last question. Talking about automatic writing,
Mm.
can you talk something about it,
Okay.
please?
Yeah. Okay. So how I started automatic writing was I just took my phone up one day and just felt, oh, maybe I should write something down on my note page. And suddenly my thumbs, and I'm in a quite relaxed state, and my thumbs just started writing. What you find with automatic writing is it's like you can start with journaling. You get a journal and put beside you, and every day you write
Hmm.
something, right? And
Hmm.
just write whatever comes to your mind. And you will sometimes see the switch between you and what you're bringing down, right? So start with that. Even if you start it with smaller pieces, write a few lines per day, and that will
Hmm.
help you get there. What I found that was quite easy was, once you get the hang of journaling and writing it automatically, like writing it as you're like thinking about eating pizzas and you're writing stuff, just let your mind relax and you just write whatever you want. Then asking a question and then letting your fingers run is the answer to the question, right? Because automatic writing comes when they need to tell you something from your soul through you for others or for yourself. But asking a question is also good, because their infinite wisdom So they know
Mhm.
everything about anything, right? So once you get the hang of writing, just journaling, then you can start asking questions, and you can actually engage with them by asking questions, um, and answering it through your fingers. But you will come a time, once you get used to it, you'll come a time you'll know it's them rather than you, because you feel like there's like this little lock in. I call it a lock in. You know, when you go, oh my
Uh-huh.
God, what's this? Oh wow. And then when you're writing it, sometimes you don't, because you're channeling it, you don't really know what you're writing till after you write it, and then you roughly know but don't know. So then you come to the end, and when you come to the end and you sort of feel, oh, I don't really know what I've written, I need to read again.
Uh,
You've been
all
channeling,
right.
right?
All right.
It's if you're knowing what you're writing word for word, you're not relaxed enough. So meditate first and then do that, or go and do some adrenaline stuff. Go to gym or go for a run, and we come back, just go straight on and start writing, because that's when you are in a more of a trance state.
All right. Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
For-
welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for coming on. I'll see if
Thank
anybody
you,
else wants to
Philamae.
come on.
God bless you.
Bless you too. Okay, Louisa's in. Hi, Louisa. That's a whole what is it? Tutorial, and it's about um, unlabeling or changing the labels of things to ease the pain. So feel free to have a look at that. Hi, Anita. Good to see you. Hi, Laurie. Thank you for feedback on the tools. There'll be more. There'll be more. Patricia, yes, testimonial. That'd be awesome. I will need to find a place where I can hold the testimonials before I set up websites and or teaching spaces. And also I've got another Facebook page. So I'll let you guys know if there's a blurb you want to write. I can pop that in. Thank you so much. Yeah. Or private message me with the blurb, and that'd be great. Thank you. So does anybody else want to come on before I go? Before the water that I've been drinking gets the better of me? Okay. I think I think that's it. I think that's it. Okay, guys, I'm gonna say goodbye. Have a listen into that. I'm gonna do that because I don't know what I've said actually. I know a little bit of where it was heading, but I think I need to listen to it again, or listen to it for the first time. So I want to send you all my love. Keep practicing. They're saying, please come on, do your thing. It's a safe place. It's an awesome place. Lots of loving being around. Um, See how Phil's taken off her training wheels and just laughed through most of it, or brought stuff down. You can do it too. Just step up, take your training wheels off, and be playful and easy about it, and just learn to access what's in you. So thank you so much for being here with me. Sending all of you love. See you again. Bye.